Well, Chris Waddle's exceptional form has influenced Newcastle United's team selection. The plan is for John Anderson to operate on the left side of midfield to try to cut off the supply to his former teammate. 19-year-old Paul Gascoigne returns after 4 months of pelvic trouble. That's something of a gamble, but it does release Peter Beardsley to a freer attacking role. And Beardsley told me again today that he's quite happy to see out his contract here. David Pleat only joined up with his players less than 3 hours before the kick-off. Gary Stevens had already passed the check on a hamstring injury. There were thoughts of resting Aussie Ardiles, who's had a lot of games recently, and Glenn Hoddle, who's not quite fully fit. But the only change is at substitute. Nico Klaassen feeling under the weather, so a late call for Tony Galvin.
Number 8, Paul Gascoigne, and number 9,
and the referee tonight is Jim McCauley from Leeds.
Substitute number 12 is Tony Cunningham.
Well, here we are on March the 25th, and extraordinarily, this is Tottenham's first game outside London since the turn of the year. 16 matches in 1987, they've all been in the capital. Tottenham in a change strip tonight of all light blue, facing the famous black and white stripes of Newcastle United. Newcastle beginning a run of 4 consecutive home games, which they hope might sort things out for them in their plight at the bottom of the table. Ray Clemence will always have a soft spot for the opposition tonight. He made his 1,000th senior appearance against Newcastle some 18 months ago. So it's Richard Gough with the free kick. The pitch was soaked by overnight rain, but it's been a bright day, and a lot of that water has drained through. Neil McDonald. Here's Paul Stevenson. And Ardiles sorting it out for Tottenham. Plenty of spring in the step for the 34-year-old Argentinian, who's fully fit now, really for the first time for a couple of years. And that's why David Pleat really has stayed with him and an unchanged side following Sunday's triumph over Liverpool. Chris Waddle played a major part in that, of course, and it's his pass for Steve Hodge. Clive Allen and Hodge. Martin Thomas kicks it out, and it's just over by Waddle following in. He'd started it, and he very nearly finished it. But Steve Hodge, who scored twice against Newcastle for Aston Villa back in October, was very nearly in for the opener here for Tottenham. And then Waddle with the goal gaping, although the ball didn't run truly to him. Clive Allen being forced back and being fouled. Glenn Roeder and Clive Allen are old friends from their Queen's Park Rangers days. And Paul Allen was caught by Gascoigne, who's really fired up at the start. Allen had been trying to prise away through the middle and found his path was blocked, and Gascoigne, after a bit of a bump, raised an arm. Neil McDonald's header. And Mabbutt had the ball and the free kick. Waddle has been back here before. He played for Tottenham here last season and scored in a 2-2 draw. And Ardiles, after some neat footwork, is sent flying by the exuberant Gascoigne. That was nicely done by Gary Stevens. Clive Allen might get a second bite at it, and it's prodded in, and it's Hoddle who has it, and Tottenham chasing their championship dream have made a good start at St James's Park, thanks to the endeavour and enterprise of Stevens, the force here of Clive Allen, and then Glenn Hoddle cropping up with a striker's goal, really. And with 9 minutes gone, Newcastle United are behind on their own ground, but Hoddle might just have come back from an offside position to get that, but the flag stayed down. Gough across covering, and carried by Anderson. And Newcastle certainly have to try and step up the rate now. Goddard and Beardsley. Away by Gough. Walk. Here's Hoddle. And Chris Waddle is on his way. Only Clive Allen up with him. But Hodge is making tracks on the near side. And Paul Allen was the fourth member of the strike force for Tottenham. It didn't reach Clive Allen. Gary Stevens climbing on the back of Goddard. Roda and Jackson making their way forward. It's played by Beardsley towards Jackson. Goddard is there, Stevenson is there, and was off balance when he struck it. But it was well rehearsed, the free kick from Beardsley. Gascoigne. This is John Anderson, Beardsley to his left, and Newcastle simply filling the middle now. Walk. Back from Anderson. And Thomas, that was an important header for Tottenham. Stevenson. And it all comes to naught because of a foul throw. It's been an invigorating first 20 minutes. Advising Mitchell Thomas out of your picture, but he was aware of any potential time wasting. It's a bit early for all that. Tottenham will be better advised, I'm sure, to make attack the best form of defence with their one-goal lead. And Stevens was late. And he's going to be spoken to. Wharton was past him. It was a calculated foul. Hoddle. Now Thomas. Gary Mabbutt has made his way up on the far side. If Thomas can get in a deep cross. And it is indeed aimed towards Mabbutt. And the volley was for Waddle. Well, after the last two games, you rather get into the habit of expecting it to end up in the back of the net when Chris Waddle decides to shoot. But it's a measure of Tottenham's ambition to add to their lead that Mabbutt was there at the far post, forcing the half clearance, which Waddle couldn't deal with. Waddle. Again. And Newcastle at the moment having difficulty defending down their left-hand side, and turns like that would disrupt many a defence. Cross not deep enough for Waddle on that occasion. Goddard took it brilliantly away from Mabbutt, who held him a little bit, and then Gough conceded a corner. He's a very honest player, Paul Goddard. Others might have looked for the penalty and might have got it. It was Mabbutt that there was a suggestion of a foul against him by, and not Gough, who won the ball cleanly and put it behind. Beardsley attracting the ball again as it came out from a crowded area. Another example of his perception, just taking a more distant view of proceedings. And his shot has won Newcastle another corner. Less than 3 minutes remaining in the first half. And Clemence couldn't get there, nor for Newcastle could Jackson. Allen buying his side some time brilliantly. Clive Allen, that is. Hodge. That's Paul Allen, who's offside. These days, Tottenham are constructed for the counter-attack. Goddard setting off again, a little bit more in hope than in expectation. And Ardiles can take the steam out of Newcastle once more. We're into the second minute of stoppage time. Fascinating match, which doesn't in itself answer any questions, but it's an important piece in a complicated jigsaw. And at half-time, Tottenham go off 1 goal to the good. The scorer, Hoddle, after 9 minutes. And it was a goal that injected anxiety into bottom of the table Newcastle United. They haven't really recovered from it yet. At half-time at St James's Park, it's Newcastle United 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Welcome back to St James's Park. Tottenham leading Newcastle United by 1 goal to 0. No visiting club, in fact, has won more times on this famous setting than Spurs. And indeed, since Newcastle were brought back into the First Division by Arthur Cox in 1984, they'd not beaten Spurs in 6 meetings. If they're going to change their fortune here, somebody's got to take a little bit more responsibility in front of goal. And Clive Allen trying to set Chris Waddle through, and he looked as though he was going to finish second in that race, and suddenly found an extra stride. It's part of the deception, really, of the Waddle style, and it unsettled Peter Jackson for a moment. Hoddle was his 7th goal of the season. Free kick to Newcastle, a foul by Ardiles. A goal here for Newcastle would completely change the mood. And Roda, one of the Londoners in the black and white stripes, can't provide it. Tottenham playing their way into a little bit of trouble at the moment. But that's the difference in morale between the two sides, that they, for a moment, got out of it, but back facing Beardsley again. And now Gascoigne. Goddard, who shoots with such economy from the edge of the area. not an exaggerated backlift, and that can fool defenders. But Tottenham had played around with the ball in their own half and lost it on a couple of occasions and nearly lost the goal to Goddard because of it. Waddle. And that's a corner. No question about it. Peter Jackson couldn't stop it rolling behind. Gary Mabbutt slowly making his way to the edge of the area, where he's joined now by Gough. Waddle going in towards the near post. And that's Mabbutt, and it's off the line from Kenny Wharton. One of those spring-heeled leaps. And Wharton was there. And straight away, Newcastle looked to strike back with Beardsley, and the idea was right, but not the execution. Gascoigne had space to reach an early cross. But it was a let-off down at the Gallowgate end as Mabbutt powered in the header and Wharton held his position on the post. Hodge not given time to dwell, but Clive Allen found by Hoddle. Help from Paul Allen, and he's bundled away through, and Thomas did enough, and again Wharton was there to help out. Paul Allen, with only one goal to his name this season, nearly doubled the tally, but Martin Thomas got quickly to his left. Here's Beardsley. Gascoigne. Sometimes Peter Beardsley uses his right foot like an ice hockey player uses his stick to propel the puck. And he was trying that sort of pass then into the chest of Gascoigne. Comes quicker than defenders expect. And it was too quick for Gascoigne to control. Eventful second half already. McCreary. Just when Newcastle seemed to be getting back in tune, they strike a discordant note like McCreary's under-hit pass. But he's a grand competitor. And he'll go and win it back again for you. Hoddle. Beardsley. Just a little trip by Hoddle, and Peter Beardsley in fact has a slightly swollen foot caused by a training clash this morning with Paul Gascoigne. The usual pre-game competitive small-sided game, and Paul Gascoigne got a little bit over-exuberant and Beardsley was on the receiving end. 1 or 2 frowns up at the training ground, I can tell you that. And Clive Allen nearly adds to Newcastle's dismay. That was very crisply hit. As he looks to move off number 40, where he's been stuck for a couple of games in his goal tally. Waddle. Hodge away to his left, and Thomas. Here's Waddle. And that was beautifully played with Hoddle, and Chris Waddle is in and punches the air in disappointment. He hasn't really been pleased, except for the last couple of weeks, with his finishing all season. And again he got into a threatening position and dragged it well wide of the target. Here's Gascoigne. Beardsley held the hand up, apologising, and in fact Kenny Wharton caught out of position because of that. Tottenham took the throw quickly. And that all stemmed from a Peter Beardsley mistake on the halfway line. Gough with a free header, and Martin Thomas, who had a spell on loan with Tottenham back in 1982, had to save again as Newcastle defended poorly at a Tottenham corner. Waddle. Hodge covered a lot of ground. It was an ambitious pass by Waddle, or attempted pass, but he's been making them pay in recent games. Gascoigne. Here's Stevenson. Beardsley calling for an early cross. And when it comes in via the outside of the right boot of Paul Gascoigne, it bent in towards Clemence and away from Paul Goddard. Roda. Here's McDonald. Tottenham's one-goal lead hasn't looked all that secure. Beardsley. And it's a lovely sharp turn, but Clemence denies him the satisfaction of the equaliser. You can almost see the concern in defenders when they're faced by Beardsley. Goddard has gone offside in any case, and this time Jim McCauley, the referee, plays the advantage. Hoddle. And Paul Allen. Good goalkeeping. He had committed himself, Martin Thomas. Clive Allen was waiting if it was played across the face of the goal. And once there, Martin Thomas just had to get it. And he did. Beardsley. Here's Anderson. It's all being played in front of Tottenham. Gough. Beardsley. And it's put in by Paul Goddard. Newcastle United are level. Suddenly, the more direct tactic paid off. It's a weak header by Gough. Whipped across, and Goddard was in for the kill. 1-1. Beardsley. Past Mabbutt. And that would have lifted the roof off the stand. It's already a deafening noise in the ground that's open at both ends. Beardsley a yard or so away at the end of a thrilling run. It's been a match full of energy, and considering the importance of it to both clubs, it's been played with a wonderful attitude, which reflects great credit on both managers. Looked like a Tottenham corner. Clive Allen certainly thought so. He was trying to collect the ball to take it when he saw the referee had pointed for a goal kick. Martin Thomas in a hurry. Tottenham have a point which will lift them up the table. Newcastle United, thanks to their equaliser with 15 minutes left,